beating me for the U.S. title is like the Canucks winning a Stanley Cup.
Okay, so we've got 3 games to talk about today, plus an update on the Canucks prospects playing for Team Sweden in the World Juniors Tournament. Feel free to skip to the part you want to see by clicking the time codes located in the description of this video. Alright, starting with Game 37 against the Ottawa Senators, and just 2 minutes in, we finally got to see Ian Cole score his first goal as a Canuck to put his team up 1-0. Look how clean the entire sequence leading to that goal was. It started with Pettersson calling the play, at least I think that's what he was doing here. Then Mikheyev dumped the puck in for Pettersson to pick up, but instead, Petey faked the puck retrieval and let it go back to Noah Juulsen at the point. Then Juulsen passed it to Cole, and boom goes the dynamite. Sorry, I wanted to say that at least once. And then, watch Pius Suter grind the puck away from Josh Norris, get it back to Tyler Myers for a point shot, catch the rebound off the end boards, and get it to his stick in lightning speed to put the Canucks up 2-0. Again, I'm sure Tocchet was happy with the hard work that went into that goal. Then, just a few minutes later, Kuzmenko dumped the puck in deep but didn't forecheck hard enough and lost possession. By the way, this is the exact reason why he keeps getting scratched. Luckily, when Ottawa tried to clear the puck, Pius Suter, who had just jumped on the ice to replace Mikheyev, was in perfect position to keep it in, allowing Pettersson to steal the puck from Erik Brandstrom and skillfully bank it in off the goalie to put the Canucks up 3-0. And another play that would make the coach happy. Maybe not the Kuzmenko part though, keep that in mind for later. And then just 14 seconds later, JT Miller managed to get his stick on a Nikita Zadorov point shot for his 16th of the season to put the Canucks up 4-0. At this moment, I'd like to remind all of you kind people watching that this is still just the first period. And I also want to highlight this one tweet from everyone's favorite Canucks reporter, Thomas Drance.
Canucks have scored on an Ian Cole point shot, an end-board ricochet, a sequence in which Pettersson turned 2 shot attempts from behind the goal line into a 3-0 lead, and a double doink off of a harmless point shot. 4-0 Vancouver as the PDO machine burrs on.
Look, this is the kind of reporting that made me start this channel. Drance usually does a great job, but you can tell he's just trying to rile up Canucks fans for quick and easy clicks with this tweet. While what he's saying isn't necessarily wrong, it's not painting the full picture of how well the Canucks had been playing leading up to those goals being scored. Anyway, it's 4-0 in the first period, so Ottawa put out their 4th line to try to breathe some life into their game, but that only lasted for about 8 seconds before former Canuck Zach McEwen made the silly decision to try to goat Noah Juulsen into a fight. But obviously, Juulsen was like,
"We're up 4-0, why would I fight you?"
And McEwen was given a 2-minute penalty for roughing, and of course, Petey scored on that power play to make it 5-0 for the Canucks. And yes, that one also deflected in. Here's what Rick Tocchet said about the first period.
Yeah, great period. It's probably one of our best periods in about a month. That was awesome.
The last time the Canucks scored 5 goals in the first period was all the way back in 2019 against the Florida Panthers, where they got goals from Brandon Sutter, Tim Schaller, Jake Virtanen, JT Miller, and Josh Levo. And out of the 20 players dressed for that game, only 6 remain with the team today. That just shows you how much the Canucks have been overhauled in the past 4 years. Anyway, Ottawa must have been told the game started at 8 rather than 7 because they came out and scored in the first 2 minutes of the second period to make it 5-1, and they were playing a lot better. Also, it's worth mentioning that despite falling a bit out of position on that goal, Demko played great the entire game. Just look at the saves he was making when the Senators were really starting to pour it on. Nothing too highlight reel worthy, just great positioning and rebound control. Demko is still a demon. Oh yeah, I almost forgot to mention that an absolute legend was in the building that night watching the Canucks pulverize the Sens. I don't even have to say his name, but I will just for the young kids watching. Chad Kroeger, the lead singer of the multi-Grammy nominated Canadian rock band Nickelback, was at the game sitting behind the Canucks bench. Oh, and he brought his friend Wayne Gretzky with him too, which was super nice of him. Anyway, on to the third period, and it was still 5-1 for the Canucks.
Tarasenko scores 37 seconds into the third period.
Oh right, the Senators scored 30 seconds in to make it 5-2 for the Canucks. Now at this point, I'm sure you've all seen the Michigan goal that Connor Bedard scored a couple of weeks ago, right? Well, if you didn't know, that's kind of our boy Big Hog's specialty. He did it twice when he was playing in the Swedish Hockey League and even managed to pull one off on the big stage playing for Team Sweden in the 2020 World Juniors. And us Canucks fans have been waiting patiently for him to give it a try in the NHL since he joined the team 3 years ago. Well, I'm sorry to inform you, but Big Hog blueballed the entire fan base. It actually looked like he was trying to pull the same move Trevor Zegras did back in 2021, except Hoglander didn't have a teammate in front to whack it into the net like Zegras did. Oh well, back to waiting patiently, I suppose. Anyway, Demko kept shutting the door, and the Sens were getting frustrated, especially Brady Tkachuk, who decided to take out some of his anger on Elias Pettersson. Look, I've said this before and I'll say it again. Losing your cool like this is so embarrassing, and I don't just mean in sports, I mean anywhere. there. My advice to all of you is to always keep your cool no matter what. It's fine to show emotion, just try not to let it get the best of you like this. Anyway, late in the third period, the Sens pulled their goalie and managed to score another one to make it 5-3 with 2.5 minutes left. I honestly couldn't believe it. The Senators managed to make the game interesting after going down 5-0 in the first period, and based on the way the Canucks were playing late in the game, they may have actually been able to come back if Pius Suter hadn't lobbed in his second of the game 12 seconds later to make it 6-3 for the Canucks. Look, I'm not gonna dump on Korpisalo here and make fun of him for letting this get past him. Shit happens. However, I will show you this incredible save Demko made at the end of the game to cap off his stellar performance. This is my official warning to all other teams scheduled to play the Canucks in the near future. Thatcher Demko is in demon mode. Take all necessary precautions. Thank you. Anyway, that was it. The Canucks won 6-3. Now remember that funny little tweet from Thomas Drance before? Well, I think the players have taken note of his constant pessimism over the past few seasons, because when Drancer made a mistake asking JT Miller a question in the media scrum after the game, JT jumped at the opportunity to dunk on him.
Could you tell that it was fluttering though? Like, were you trying to get in the way?
Which one?
The goalie scored the Meyer shot that sort of deflected.
No, it was the door off.
Oh, that wasn't right. So no.
You should watch the game, Drancer.
Watch the game, Drancer! Thomas, if you're watching, I'm just messing around, okay? Anyway, here are the smarty pants that predicted the score of Game 37 right. Good job, guys. Now, on to Game 38 against the St. Louis Blues, the first of a grueling 7-game, 2-week-long road trip for the Canucks, so you know they wanted to start strong.
And then Blueger to Garland shoots. He scores! Garland from the slot.
The scorching hot lifeline struck again, and for the second game in a row, the Canucks opened the scoring just 2 minutes into the first period. It was a perfectly executed sequence that started all the way back in the defensive zone with a blueprint breakout followed by a dump chase and forecheck so good you'd think it only existed in the dreams of hockey coaches. And to top it all off, Blueger delivered the puck on a platter for Garland to blast past Jordan Binnington's blocker. 1-0 Canucks. Now, I gotta mention that there was a decent amount of controversy on Canucks Twitter surrounding the lineup for this game, because for the 6th time this season, Andrei Kuzmenko was a healthy scratch. It's clear the coaching staff wants the whole team to play a certain way, and if Kuzmenko isn't playing like that consistently enough, they have to scratch him. If they don't, what's that saying to the rest of the team? It seems like Kuzmenko understands that and is committed to making it work, but everyone wants to make a big deal out of it and are coming up with all these different trade scenarios involving Kuzi. I don't think it's that deep. However, I will say that the Canucks really could have used him in this game, because that beautiful goal from the lifeline ended up being the only one they managed to get past Binnington. But with Thatcher Demko playing the way he has been lately, maybe one goal could be enough to win. Demko saved games for this team many times before, and he'll do it many times again, I'm sure. He's so positionally aware in his crease. It's not super often you see him make highlight reel saves where he's out of position, having to dive back into the play to stop the puck. He's got a handful of those for sure, but it's usually him just making it look easy. However, the Blues did eventually beat him in the second period to tie it up 1-1. And look, the Canucks had their opportunities but lacked the finish. And it'd be unfair if I didn't mention that Jordan Binnington was playing fantastic. This was a battle between the two goalies more than anything, but I can understand why fans were upset that Kuzmenko wasn't playing. And halfway through the third period, Blues forward Robert Thomas sniped one past Thatcher Demko, and that was all it took. The Canucks lost in frustrating fashion 2-1 to the St. Louis Blues. Now, on to Game 39 against the New Jersey Devils. The last time the Canucks played this team, it ended up being insanely entertaining, where all three Hughes brothers took over the game and were basically playing shinny against one another. Click the link in the top right corner to watch my video on that game, but for this one, Kuzmenko was back in the lineup, and Carson Soucy was back after missing 23 games with an undisclosed lower body injury, and interestingly, the defenseman chose to sit out to make room for Soucy wasn't Noah Juleson. It was actually the newly acquired Russian giant Nikita Zadorov. It's also worth mentioning that Jack Hughes was injured in the Devils' previous game against the Blackhawks and wasn't playing in this one. So this Hughesapalooza was just gonna be Luke versus Quinn, 43 versus 43, defenseman versus defenseman, biggest bro versus littlest bro. And guess what? For the third straight game in a row, the Canucks opened the scoring in the first 2 minutes of the game. Never mind, it was called off due to goalie interference. But let me just say this, the first 45 minutes of this game was probably the best I've seen the Canucks play since 2011 or 2012. No exaggeration. They were dominating. Scoring chance after scoring chance. Brock Boeser, Andrei Kuzmenko, Elias Pettersson, Dakota Joshua, Quinn Hughes. Despite this one breakaway for the Devils that Demko calmly denied, the overwhelming majority of the first period was played in the Devils' end of the ice, and man did their goalie Nico Daws put on a show, stopping all 17 shots he faced in the first period. However, the Canucks were not slowing down, and 30 seconds into the second period, the dam finally burst when Pettersson scored his 16th of the season to put his team up 1-0. The Canucks were clearly responding to their lack of offense last game against the Blues, and that's really great to see, because when the playoffs come around, bouncing back from bad games is probably the most important skill to have for any team who wants to go on a deep run. Just look at this pressure from the Canucks here. It's amazing. Then JT Miller scored his 17th of the season, and then a minute later scored his 18th, 3-0 Canucks. Then Hoglander squished Jesper Bratt, Devils scored. Whatever. Lafferty murdered Holtz. Demko shut the door. Teddy Blueger got a chance. Kuzi got a clean shot off, followed the rebound, and then made a beautiful pass to set up Nils Oman for a chance. Another great save from Dawes here. Then Nils Hoglander forechecked hard, stole the puck, and set up Sam Lafferty for a chance. Then Filip Hronek sent Kuzmenko in on a partial breakaway, but that was stopped by Dawes. Have I said every Canucks player's name yet? Seriously, this is insane. Erik Haula scored. It's a 1-goal game now. Great.
12 seconds later.
Now a chance for Conor Garland to get it back. Goes around the net, wrap around, he scores!
Garland scored 12 seconds after the Devils almost made a game of it. Are you guys having fun yet? I know I sure am. 4-2 Canucks. The Canucks now have 32 shots on net, and there's still an entire period left. Quinn Hughes got a chance that was stopped by Nico Dawes, but it's okay because Pettersson scored his second of the game 2 minutes later. 5-2 Canucks. Kuzi got a shot off from the slot, but Dawes stopped it and whacked away the rebound before Pius Suter could get to it. And then Demko made a beautiful save off ex-Canuck Tyler Toffoli, who has had his way with the Canucks since leaving the team a few years ago. I wonder what the Hughes family thought about all this action. New Jersey scored. 5-3. That's fine. It'll be fine. New Jersey scored again. 5-4. Remember when I said that the first 45 minutes of this game was the best hockey I've seen the Canucks play in a decade? Well, this is why. I shouldn't have been biting my nails and shitting my pants at the end of this game, but here we are. Thankfully, Dakota Joshua scored his 10th of the season on an empty net, and the Canucks won 6-4. Congrats to Sniper65 for predicting this one. What a fun game, though. That's 2 games against the Devils that were a complete blast to watch. It's too bad we don't play them again until next season. Unless... never mind. And finally, I just want to give you all an update on Canucks prospects Jonathan Lekkerimäki, Tom Willander, and Elias Pettersson, who just finished playing in the World Juniors tournament for Team Sweden. Willander and Pettersson were both stellar defensively the entire time, but I want to talk about Lekkerimäki specifically. This kid just kept scoring. He finished with 7 goals in 7 games, tying him for first place in scoring, and was named the MVP of the entire tournament despite his team falling short in the gold medal game against the US. Can you imagine how lethal this kid playing on a line with Elias Pettersson could be? I like what Daniel Wagner said here.
Lekkerimäki's shot is bonkers. Everyone knows the one-timer is coming. The penalty killers know it. The goaltender knows it. It doesn't matter. It just doesn't matter.
Anyway, that's all for today. The Canucks play 3 games this week. Today against the Rangers, tomorrow against the Islanders, and Thursday against the Penguins. You can expect a video from me on Friday covering those games, so leave your predictions below. Also, I'm currently working on a video that isn't Canucks focused. Don't freak out. I'm still covering every single game. Nothing is changing. There's just a lot of stuff happening around the league that has sparked my interest, and I want to pile it all into one video. I think it's going to be called Around the League or something, so you can expect that at some point too. Thanks everyone. Enjoy the rest of your week. I'll see you Friday. Go Canucks.
Should watch the game, Drance.